People all over the world, join hands. Come on, start a love train. People all over the world, come on, join hands. Start a love train. People all over the world, join hands. Start a love train. People all over the world, join hands. Start a love train. People all over the world, join hands. Start a love train. People all over the world. The next stop we will make will be soon. Tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Don't you know it's time to get on board and let this train keep on riding, riding on through. Head on the world love train, let the band dance out deep. Head on the world, join hands, start a love train, head on the world, join hands, start a love train up. Well, starting a love train. The train I made wasn't a love train, in fact it was the quite opposite. It was 2016 and it was the American elections. And I had two friends in America who had known for 50 years apiece, and they were on opposite sides of the political divide. They both used to be leftists, but one became an ultra-right Trump supporter, and they engaged me in these emails between each other, getting more and more fraught, more and more angry with each other, and I was copied into this, and I must say after a bit I realised there's something going on here, and I must have encouraged it a little bit, you know. I said a few things to sort of stir it up a bit, because I realised that what I was looking at was a battle for the soul of America between two leftists, and one leftist and one rightist, both with PhDs, by the way. They've been professors and things like that. And so I thought, I'm going to make a piece of work about this. I'd made a piece of work about my father with all his, you know, his sermons and things, handwritten. But then I thought, why not make a piece of work about the American election and the battle for the soul of America, just using printouts from emails, and that's what I did, and that's what we're going to look at now. Well, first of all, I had to sort of hang the idea on something, and I thought, well, why not hang it on the idea of some classic of cowboys and Indians, or in this case, a train, love train, steaming across the far west, and being attacked by American Indians. And I was going to call the piece, you see, American Mail, M-A-I-L and M-A-L-E, because they're battling it out with their willies in more ways than one. And you can see what I've done is to use that drawing, and you can also made some sort of references, because they sent each other things like this photograph here. You can see a Monument Valley, the old finger up the ass sort of thing. You can see in front of it, which is just like the Monument Valley thing. So I included that, and I included lots of other sorts of things that they sent, rude things they sent to one another. But the emails themselves were most interesting. This one, you know, this one is going on about, he's going on about how climate change is a con, and so on and so forth. And there we get a reply from John to Sam. Sam, do you believe what is commonly known as the Holocaust, the Hitler regime's mass museum of over 6 million Jews? Do you believe that? Do you, it ends up by saying, do you deny the reality of climate change? Do you deny the theory of evolution? Do you deny the theory of gravity? And so these things go backwards and forwards. So I had them like this, shooting at each other like this, leaning out of the carriage window. You can see them there leaning out of there, of the shooting, we're steaming past, and he said here, you're an outlier, you left the neocons and the paleo-conservatives behind. None of them support Trump. You may be the only Jewish PhD in the world who supports that sociopath. He is the most severe existential threat to America and the planet since Adolf Hitler, and may even be more of a menace than Hitler, since Hitler never had access to nuclear weapons. So anyway, I collaged all this together. I've never actually told them because you can see I redacted it. That's the other thing. There was lots of rows about the election about redacted emails, if you remember, with Hillary Clinton. Redacted this and redacted that. So I've redacted their names and addresses here. So they've got, they're anonymised. But of course, you know, they stand for more than their own point of view. They stand for a sort of a national bifurcation. And in fact, it was this piece of work, when I made it, it was the same size as Herman's sermons. And I put them together in this exhibition. And Anthony Thompson wrote a review about it, and he said that it was extraordinary. I didn't realise that I'd made this extraordinary juxtaposition between the quiet and the copper plate of one, and these angry emails where you sort of jam down something without sort of thinking it carefully through. The sort of the way that it changes the way you think about things, because it's instant gratification in terms of communication. And he said this sort of the piece in the middle, and these two worlds entirely different, and how they fell off one another, and in fact added up to more than the sum total of the parts in terms of how things are communicated and how people are persuaded. But let's go back to people all over the world, because we would really need a love train, and there's not much chance of that in America now because we've got a completely bifurcated system. People all over the world, love train, join hands, start a love train, leap all over the world, join hands, start a love to the next stop, we will make love bloom. Tell all the folks in Russia and China too.